Thank you for attending our Duarte City Council meeting tonight, for you that are in the audience, and then also for those that are attending online. I'd like to call to order this meeting and just note several absences here. Sam is sick tonight, and we also had a tragic occurrence happen. I know most people have heard about it by now, but we had our dear friend and colleague, Zeidel, pass away on Saturday morning, I think about 10 a.m. And Zeidel was, she had the heart of a lion. And she grew up here in Duarte. She loved Duarte. The only thing she really loved more than Duarte was her family. And Duarte was her family too. Zeidel was known and loved by all of us sitting up here. And it's really hard to lose someone that you love as much as we did, especially, you know, we've only not had her with us for 4 days now. I think to a certain degree, we all expected it, but Zeidel found out almost 3 years ago that she had stage 4 cancer. And the doctors gave her 6 months to live. And because she had the heart of a lion and loved her family, she really pulled off something that most people don't have the heart or the will to be able to do. So it's something that, again, I think all of us kind of thought she'd be able to pull off a miracle. And if there's anyone that deserved a miracle, it was Zeidel. She was kind, she was fun, she was, as I often told our city manager, Zeidel would walk into a room and twirl and everybody'd look and we all loved her. I remember my mother passed away, and almost exactly a year ago, we had her funeral service over at Immaculate Conception Church. And of course, at that time, Zeidel had had cancer for almost 2 years. And I remember her coming up to me before the service, and she said, "Margaret, I'm going to walk over to you unaided during the handshake or kiss of peace." She said, "You watch me." And she was sitting a long way away in Immaculate Conception Church. And so when that point in the Mass came, sure enough, Casey, who was always there by her side, she walked over and she hugged me. That is the way Zeidel lived her life. She made sure that she always put other people first. I know my colleagues will have plenty to say at the end, but we hope tonight, in respect to Zeidel, we'll keep the meeting brief if we can, with still getting our city business done. But we love her. We've always loved her. And for any of you that had never met her, she was a ball of fire. A ball of fire. So with that, if we could have Cesar Garcia, our newest council member, if we could have him lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Item 3 is the adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda. The only thing I would like to add, and I know this is kind of just not even necessary, but we would like to adjourn this meeting in memory and in love for our departed council member, Zeidel. So if we could add that, and obviously we'll be doing something later on, and we will let people know when the services are. You can check the website, or obviously many of us have contacts within the government community, and we will let people know. So with that, if there are no objections, then so ordered. We have 4 special items tonight. Item 3A is the Caltrans presentation on planned closures on the Route 210 freeway. So maybe you can tell us what is going to happen with our version of Carmageddon here.
Good evening, and my condolences to your city family and the loss of your council member.
Thank you.
Today, this evening, I'm going to be discussing this ongoing project we have on the 210 freeway between Irwindale Avenue, right over the San Gabriel River Bridge. And you go to the next slide. I will give a brief description of what the project entails. We are going to be reconstructing what we call a hinge joint. A hinge joint is this hinge joint runs perpendicular to both directions, on both directions of the freeway. In order to complete this work, we'll require 2 126-hour extended closures. And for each extended closure, this will approximately run over a period of 6 days, beginning on a Wednesday night through the following Tuesday. This project is already underway, and we are finishing up what we call our stage 1. Basically, what we're doing in stage 1 is removing the existing asphalt right shoulders in both directions, and we're going to fortify that so that when we move traffic onto the to the outside, it be capable of carrying additional loads. Once that work is completed, then we'll jump into the median area, demolish the concrete median barrier, and start setting up our temporary K-rails in there in preparation for us to do the work on the stage 2. Our stage 2 work is one of the first of the 2 extended weekend closures. We will be closing all lanes on the westbound 210, basically between Irwindale Avenue and the 605 freeway. And during that period, we will be converting the eastbound direction to carry 3 lanes, both directions to travel on the eastbound side during that extended closure. So that will run from a Wednesday night through the following Tuesday morning. And then we will open it back up on overnight Monday night and restore the freeway to normal operations. Approximately 3 to 4 weeks later, we will we will start stage 3. And it'll be just an exact opposite of what we're doing on the westbound side. We will close the entire direction, bridge over the San Gabriel River Freeway, the river on the eastbound side, and convert the westbound lanes to carry 3 lanes in each direction of travel during the period of that closure. Once that work is done, we will start our stage 4. We will reconstruct the median barrier. And when that is complete, then we will go to our last stage, which is to replace, demolish and replace the existing bridge railing on the right side with concrete barriers. Go to the next slide. This is the slide here is actually a very similar project, is a hinge replacement project that occurred up in the Bay Area about 3 or 4 years ago. So when we do the stage 2, We are currently scheduled, looking to start on July 20th, on Wednesday night of the 20th. And then stage 3 will follow in August, tentatively scheduled for August 17th. So what we're going to do during these 2 extended weekend closures, as I mentioned, on Wednesday night, around 7 p.m., we'll start closing lanes. And then we will also close the South 605 to East 210 connector, as well as the north and southbound Irwindale on-ramps to the West 210. And both of these connectors, or all these ramps here will be closed for the full extended period.
Okay, so help me with this.
Sure.
So you said July 17th, right?
Was it the 17th or the?
July 20th, what is?
20th, I believe it was the 20th. Go back.
Okay, so July 20th then,
It was Wednesday night.
is that a Wednesday then?
I don't have my calendar. Can you go back to the previous slide, please? The 20th, yeah, 20th is a Wednesday.
July 20th is a Wednesday, okay. And at 7 p.m. is approximately then when you're going to start shutting it down?
Start closing lanes at 7 p.m.
Okay, at 7 p.m. So, and it's going to then, the following Tuesday morning, what time on that Tuesday morning?
We have to have the westbound open by 4 a.m., eastbound by 6 a.m.
On Wednesday. So wait a minute. So that's how many Tuesday? So that's almost 6 days. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, our staff. Are we going to have lighted signs? I know we have a lighted sign here in Duarte. This is probably going to be one of the biggest messes we've had since the total closure of the freeway back on Valentine's Day when we had a jumper on the bridge. It was the worst. I don't know.
I remember that, yes.
Okay, so we are, then this is going to be the morning of July 26th. What are recommendations, or should I wait until the end
Well,
of
we'll
your
go through
presentation?
the entire presentation, we'll go through
Okay,
all the
okay, I'm
details,
sorry.
and then we'll talk, yeah. We continue on, so we'll go back to the other one. On Wednesday night, so around 9 p.m., we will close additional lanes on the freeway, both directions. And then we will also close the North 605 to East 210 connector. And that connector will remain closed through the following Tuesday morning. Go ahead and go next slide. On that late Wednesday night, when I'm talking late Wednesday night, around 10 to midnight in that range, because each direction is allowed to be closed at different time of the day or night, we will close both directions of the freeway. The westbound will be closed at Irwindale Avenue, and the eastbound will be closed at the South 605 connector. And this is only for an overnight closure for us to restripe convert the freeway from to carry both westbound and eastbound traffic on the eastbound bridge. After we open the freeway on Thursday morning and continuing to the following Monday night, as I mentioned, we'll have 3 lanes in each direction of travel. The freeway itself will no longer have any right shoulders or shoulder areas available. So if we have a disabled vehicle or stalled vehicle, it will be blocking traffic. And Caltrans will be working with the Metro's Freeway Service Patrol to increase. We will have tow trucks dedicated for that area within the work zone to help patrol and remove any stalled or accidents that may occur within the area where we have no shoulders. And hopefully we're going to get this Freeway Service Patrol. We've had recent issues in the past few months where they don't have enough staff to staff it. So hopefully they're going to give us what we need to have coverage throughout this closure. This is the graphic of what's going to be occurring during this closure. As it pretty much gives you everything right here. When it says the Mount Olive on-ramp to East 210 will be closed. That's basically, we're going to shut it down where the east and west ramps are. We're not going to shut it down at Huntington Drive. North 605 to East 10 will be fully closed for that 126 hours. So will the Mount Olive Drive to East 210. The West 210 to South 605 will be closed for the entire 126 hours. And the 210 freeway itself will be converted for 3 lanes in each direction of travel. So we're actually reducing it 2 lanes from 5 lanes to 3 lanes in each direction of travel. And then the Irwindale on and off on ramps to westbound 210 will also be closed for the entire duration of that 126 hour. Next slide. This is just more of a, was for more of the public safety people when we had our meeting with them last week, but there will be absolutely no access across that bridge deck when the work is going on. We're going to have a gap of, if you saw on the earlier slide, the actual removal is between 6 and 10 feet. So it'll be actually a hole in the deck and while they reconstruct this hinge. As I mentioned, no freeway shoulders on the 3 lanes that are open to traffic on for both directions of travel. And we do anticipate delays on some of the detours and also the primary and secondary detours that will be around the works area. So this is the picture of the detours that we will be directing motorists to on our electronic signs and our what we call our trailblaze signs as we're directing the traffic to exit on the North 605, the 3 exits prior to the 210, Ramona, Los Angeles Street, and Live Oak. And then kind of detour them along Arrow Highway to get back on the West 210 at either or East 210 at Irwindale, Azusa, and Citrus. And then coming the opposite direction for the West 210 to South 605, it'll be just the reverse. We will have signs, electronic boards, directing motorists to exit these 3 Citrus, Azusa, Irwindale, make their way south to Arrow Highway, and then make their way back to the 605 freeway, either using Live Oak, Los Angeles Street, or Ramona Boulevard. So kind of mentioned all this. So this is just a rehash of what I just went over from that graphic. Let me go to the next slide. So this is the same with the West 210 connector. The primary detours are where then we got alternates for Azusa and Citrus as well. So, and then this is the detour routes for the Irwindale ramps. For the northbound Irwindale on-ramp, we will be directing motorists to continue north and then west on Huntington to get to the ramps at Mount Olive Drive. And then for the southbound, we would try direct them to continue east on Foothill Boulevard to Azusa Avenue. Mount Olive ramp, the primary detour, it will try to give them advance, and we will have electronic boards on Huntington and also on Mount Olive Drive, advising motorists to continue west on Huntington to Buena Vista and to the East 210 on-ramp. And then the same with the eastbound, continue east on Huntington, south on Irwindale to get back on the freeway at Irwindale on-ramp. It's kind of a depiction of the, this is the plan sheet we use for the detour, but it was the colored one that also has a better depiction of the actual drawing. So next slide, I think that might be the last. And this is the information, how you could contact us if you wanted more information. Eric Menhevar is actually our public information. My name is Mike Lopez. I didn't introduce myself earlier. I'm with the Division of Construction. Eric is our public information officer. He is as well as fully versed on the aspects of this closure, and he is our point person to contact for this particular project. Any questions now you may have?
Okay, go ahead, Jody.
So typically people come on to Huntington anyway and Central. So do you have any plan in place to try and mitigate that additional traffic that is likely going to add to that?
We do. I've actually had meetings with some of your public safety manager as well, plus your public works director. But Caltrans also will have, we will have our signal timing engineer in the field during these closures to help make adjustments to our traffic signals. And I believe most of them on Central, Buena Vista, Mountain are under our control. So we have that capability of doing the adjustments and hopefully get traffic moving as best as possible. Where we have other signals outside of our jurisdiction, with the local agencies, whether it be your city or Irwindale, Baldwin Park, we are making plans to reaching out with them. We've already met with them and working with them and getting some adjustments as well.
Brian, do you see anything else that you have concerns with?
So Sergeant Feeler, myself, Azusa PD, Irwindale PD, and Baldwin Park CHP all met with Mike and his team. We went over the concerns, obviously the signals at Buena Vista Central, at Mountain and Central, which Mike explained they control. So we expressed our concern. We will be watching those. They'll be watching them. The other thing is prime peak hours, Huntington Drive could be a parking lot. Good news is it's still 3 lanes open each way. Trucks can flow through there. We expressed our concern about trucks jumping onto Huntington. We asked for additional CHP enforcement if they do. I've already looked at all the signs coming up to 605. They already have anything over 7 tons can't go onto Huntington Drive. There's signs everywhere. So from a signage perspective and everything else that can be pre-planned, it's there. It has to be done. There is no really good way. The main closure that's fully closed east and west in the middle of the night on a Wednesday night and open up by peak traffic. So we're just gonna have to grin and bear it for 6 days. We'll work with Mike and his team closely and make sure if we see anything that we'll address it when it comes up. But for right now, I think we're as prepared as we can be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other questions? Yeah, Tony.
How you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
I was wondering, how long has this project been on the books, or how, when was the initial thought of doing this project?
I believe about 18 months ago, if I recollect, and then the project actually went out to bid early spring or late winter.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is because during COVID, there was like 0 traffic on the freeway, and that would have been a perfect time for this project. Is there a reason why it wasn't done during that time?
I don't have knowledge of that, but I agree with you. It would have been a perfect time to do it. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, I have some questions.
Sure.
You're not talking about the August closure here. Are you waiting to see how the July closure goes first?
I'm going to say no. I mean, we will take any lessons learned from for the first closure, but the August one will happen. It's going to, it just takes some time for the contractor to remobilize after they complete the work on the first stage, and then they have to move all that temporary support work from one side of the freeway to the other. So,
as John Q. Public, how do I know what a hinge and diaphragm project is? How did you know what it was? And what's wrong with our hinge and diaphragm?
from what I understand, there is some internal damage in there from crumbling from concrete, and it just wear and tear. It is slowly, breaking apart inside there, inside this bridge itself. We have a program where we do maintenance. Every bridge is inspected every 2 years. So Caltrans has been aware of this deterioration. And this is why this project was put forth, one of these bridge inspections that were done in the past.
Okay, and this is more directed toward our staff. I know we put stuff out on our website and we tweet it and we do a lot of social media. There are a lot of people in our city that don't use social media. What are we doing to make sure, those maps were great. They're very helpful. What are we doing to help people that this is going, that they really don't know anything about this? Although, again, I've been on the freeway and I see some of the signs, the lighted signs that are there. What are we doing?
Beyond the social media and the website, at this point, we haven't done a lot more. And as you see, this is really just coming into sight now. I mean, until a few days ago, we thought it was going to be July 13th, and it's going to be July 20th now. And it does appear that that's really going to be the date. So now that we have a solid time as to when is this going to take place, we have the details of what's going to be happening. We're going to take that information, and I agree with you, Madam Mayor, that there's a whole swath of people out there who are on social media, the web, and we need to find creative ways to contact them, whether it could be with a mailing. We haven't decided on it yet, but we will make an effort to do that and report back to you and the council on how we're trying to reach those harder to reach populations.
Okay. I know we have some great signs up, of our fireworks, and that's, I mean, that's a good way. And then I think we would really cover our bases if we did have a mailing, but maybe we can get some more information about the closure in August, so we don't have to send out too many mailings. Is this a for sure? Do you know that that's what's going to happen in August, or you're kind of like, yeah, it's a little bit fluid here?
It's fluid. We have a lot of
Okay.
variables, but we're shooting to get this 20th.
Okay, so this is the real deal, because I'm shooting this thing out to a bunch of people now.
The
Your
only,
maps, being able to visually look at it is helpful.
the only constant's going to be, it'll always be a Wednesday through a Monday. The actual day itself, the date could change, but the day of the week will not.
Okay, so the ugly days are going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I appreciate the fact that you're trying to work within some, where it's not too many days that are closed. So, okay, Dan, you,
No, just only I'd like to thank our partners at Caltrans. I think as you mentioned, if you've been driving around in this area, I think the signage coverage has been pretty good. So I think a lot of people, if they're out and about driving now, have seen that something is coming, and hopefully they're looking at the new dates. But again, we want to try and amplify that message as much as we can. So we'll find other ways to do it.
because as sure as we're sitting up here, there are, all of us council members are going to get phone calls. And they're going to be at all times of the day or night, because somebody is furious that they had to sit through, and how come I didn't know about it? So,
Right. We're changing all of your phone numbers. Just not kidding. Before it starts.
no, I'm coming over and I'm living with you guys at your house. Okay, Jody.
Nixle, for people not on social media, I mean, having early notifications now and regularly, because that goes to their email and a lot of people. So that, I just wanted to suggest that.
We were planning on having it on Nixle in addition to the Duarte e-news. Some of this is also waiting to get past the July 3rd holiday. And it will also be in the Duarte View, which is a print publication. So it won't be it'll be analog. It won't just be online.
Do we have another magazine coming out between?
Unfortunately, not until late August, September. The timing of this project in our city news publications didn't line up right.
Gel. Okay. Okay, other questions or comments? Okay. Well, you got off easy tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you. And again, these maps are great. If you're visual, that's very helpful. So, okay. Thank you for that. Okay, item 4B is our Citrus College update. Three of my favorite people from Citrus College. Please come to the mic. Are Citrus's colors orange? Okay, okay. I get it. I
Orange
get it.
and blue.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members, and the citizens of Duarte. My name is Cheryl Alexander, and I am one of the board trustees at Citrus College. I service Area 3, which is Duarte, unincorporated areas of Monrovia, Azusa, Arcadia, Covina, and Irwindale. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members, and citizens of Duarte. My name is Mary Ann Lutz. I'm the trustee serving Area 5. Area 5 serves Duarte, which I share with Trustee Alexander, Monrovia, and Bradbury.
And good evening, Madam Mayor and members of City Council, members of the community and staff. My name is Greg Schultz and I serve as the Superintendent President at Citrus College.
We have a lot we'd like to share with you this evening, but first, we, on behalf of the entire family at Citrus College and the three of us here and our board at Citrus College, wish to send our best wishes to this community for the loss of Councilmember Para Karachi. She was a light, she loved this community, and she loved Citrus College too. And we are very sad to hear of her passing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for this brief opportunity this evening to share a little bit about Citrus College and what's new. You'll find in your information tonight a fact sheet, and so we're pleased to share that with you. And we've brought extra copies for members of the public. And we think it provides a good brief overview of our campus demographics and some of our top programs and highlights. So we hope that that's helpful. And in addition, we wanted to just share some brief updates with you this evening live. So I'll begin. First of all, you may or may not know that Citrus College was founded in 1915. And that makes Citrus College the longest operating community college in Los Angeles County and the fifth longest or oldest, you might say, in the state of California. We have a beautiful 104-acre campus just up the 210, a little bit east. And that includes 44 buildings and 7 outdoor athletic facilities. We proudly serve the communities of Duarte, Monrovia, Bradbury, Azusa, Glendora, Claremont, and in unincorporated areas of Monrovia, Duarte, Azusa, Glendora, and smaller portions of Covina, Irwindale, Pomona, San Dimas, and Laverne. We want to say thank you to all the members of the community for your support that made it possible with the measures G and more recently Y. That's helped us revitalize our learning spaces for students to prepare them for today's workforce. And we're really grateful for your support of those measures. We're in planning and construction as we speak, and we've been able to do a lot thanks to the support of the community. We'd also like to share with you that we've been recognized at Citrus College as a military-friendly schools list. This is an honor we've received for many years in a row. We're very proud of that, proud to serve our veterans. We have a wonderful Veteran Success Center on campus. We're consistently recognized as a statewide leader in certificate and degree completion at the college, and also noted for transfer to four-year colleges and universities, both in this region and even beyond and out of state. So our students start at Citrus College and go far to a number of options. In addition, I want you to know that the Arts Schools Network awarded Citrus College in 2021 its Higher Education Award for Excellence in the Arts, something we're really, really proud of as our theater arts, music arts, and fine arts programs at the college.
We just completed a multi-year process for accreditation. And in January of 2022, Citrus College was accredited. Our accreditation actually was reaffirmed for a full 7 years from the ACCJC, which is a division of the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. We also, in that accreditation, received 0 recommendations for compliance, which means they had no questions, They had no concerns. We have received the highest level of accreditation possible for colleges. We also have been recognized through this process as a statewide leader for student success, and were named as a finalist for the prestigious Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence. We just graduated on June 18, a total of 1,799 students. Many of our students graduated with multiple degrees or certificates. And that's how these numbers I'm going to give you don't add up. We gave out 2,156 associates of science or associates of arts. And the top categories were in business administration, psychology, pre-allied health, sociology, and child development education. We also gave out 2,141 total certificates. Now, the certificate programs, again, multiple certificates to singular graduates. These certificates range from cosmetology and barbering to the administration of justice, child development, early care and education, commercial music, and our licensed vocation nursing. At our actual ceremony, 709 students did the walk across the podium with us. It was our first live graduation in 3 years. The feeling was electric. Our stadium was full. The students were beaming from ear to ear. And we also included graduates from our 2020 class and our 2021 class. We also, in that mix, there were 37 veterans who graduated with us. Our youngest graduate was 17 years old. Our oldest graduate was 72 years old. Our commencement was live streamed, and it is now available on our YouTube channel. And to date, we have more than 3,000 views. Now, last year, we were 100% live streamed and on our YouTube channel, and we received tens of thousands of views. So we anticipate that number to just continue growing.
And now a little bit about our students here in Duarte. We had 126 Duarte High School students who graduated from Citrus College in the last 3 years. Through our educational partnership with Duarte USD, we are planning to strengthen the numbers from Duarte who attend and complete programs of study at Citrus College. Our enrollment declined during the pandemic and is currently below our pre-pandemic enrollment levels. But we are beginning to see our enrollment grow compared to the prior years, and we have plenty of classes available to new and returning students. We offer many in-person classes on our beautiful campus, as well as many online classes. And we are prepared to meet the needs and desires of all learners. At a cost of only $46 per unit in financial aid and scholarships available, Citrus College is an incredible value. Also, first-time college students who attend full-time are eligible for our Citrus Promise program, where students may attend tuition-free for 2 years.
I'm going to share just a little bit about our operations through the pandemic, and as we continue to be cautious, of course, on the road ahead. But when we go back to the time when there was a mandatory lockdown, stay-at-home order in the region and in the county, in the days that followed, it became very clear that some of our programs were very difficult, if not impossible, to operate remotely or in an online environment. We have many career technical education programs we're proud of. In programs like automotive technology, diesel and heavy truck programs, our allied health, nursing, dental assistant in the medical fields, became very challenging to offer that meaningful experience our students have come to enjoy in an exclusive online environment. So we implemented the strictest safety protocols as recommended by the county, state, and CDC. and begin to pilot these programs in a safe way by having those students return to campus, even as many of our students continue to learn in an online environment. That set the way and allowed us to cautiously but consistently bring more programs and even faculty and staff back to campus to operate the college in both now an online and an in-person format. Beginning with fall 2021, last year, we brought a more substantial amount of programs back to campus, and we instituted a required COVID-19 testing program. Fortunately, with support from the CARES Act or HERF funding, we were able to provide that at no cost to students or employees. And so we required everyone to be tested regardless of vaccination status. That really helped us. It helped us early identify any positive cases and limit the spread. We had an extraordinarily low positivity rate. We're continuing our weekly COVID testing today through the summer semester as we cautiously continue to watch the data in the county. And we currently encourage masking indoors. If our county does go back to the requirements, certainly we'll instantly require those things. And again, maybe a good summary is how our Board of Trustees and our college administration has implemented policies is with close attention to the public health experts. If county public health requires something, you can be certain we're requiring it. If they recommend or strongly recommend certain practices, we do the same. We recommend or strongly recommend those same practices. And that's served us well. Looking ahead to the fall, we've got about 65% of our class schedule is classes that will be held in person on our beautiful campus, about 35% online or remote. And that's really with an eye on the data. We're really trying as best we can to respond to what our students are asking of us. We thought we might be more in person by now, but what we found with enrollment patterns and student survey feedback is we have a number of working adults and others who really have appreciated the online experience. And so we're trying to do the best of both. And I think so far we're succeeding. So quick information on summer semester. Our summer semester began yesterday, June 27th, and goes through August 19th. We have a number of late start classes. So there's still plenty of opportunities for community members and students to enroll this summer at Citrus College. And our fall semester starts August 26th and will run to December 17th. So still plenty of time. We're enrolling students today. Look forward to more tomorrow, and we welcome the community to come experience Citrus College with us.
Citrus College is proud to share the fact that in 2020, we have established a DEI task force, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The purpose of our task force is to understand how we, faculty, students, staff, as an institution, can actively influence the social change needed to make an impactful difference in eliminating structural racism while also promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Task Force has focused on implementing a wide array of incentives and measures designed to lead to an improved college culture of equity, diversity, and inclusion. So in April 2022, the college hired a director of DEI, Ms. Tanisha Thomas.
Citrus College is proud to have always had a robust health center that includes mental health facilities and help for our students. But as we all know, during the pandemic and after the pandemic, the stresses on ourselves, on our students, on our community at large has been great. We've chosen to meet this challenge by hiring a mental health supervisor who will address these issues with our students and our faculty and our staff so that we can give them support where they need it. This was a decision we made and approved the hiring last month, and this person should be with us probably in the next few weeks, and we'll ramp it up so when the bulk of our students come back in fall, we'll be ready to support them with mental health facilities.
All right, as we conclude our brief presentation, I want to really shine a light on something we're very, very proud of, and that's our community and educational partnerships. Beginning with our neighbor just next door, the Duarte Unified School District. So I've had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Emerson a number of times. He's come to our campus, which I love. And we have strong partnerships, mainly what's often referred to as dual enrollment or early college. So this is an opportunity for our local high school students, scholars to access college while in high school, to complement their high school studies and begin to earn college credit and even work towards an associate degree and then transfer beyond that. So we're really proud of this partnership. In fact, right now we're in the process of reviewing our annual partnership agreement, which is called the College and Career Access Pathways Partnership. But again, it's essentially our partnership MOU with respect to early college and dual enrollment opportunities for Duarte students accessing college through Citrus College. We look forward to strengthening these current relationships and building on our successes to invite and serve more families and students in the Duarte community. Something I want to share while we're here too, we're very proud to partner with businesses and industry and even local government partners. And as we serve you too, if you identify needs that we can assist with professional learning, training of existing staff, or if you're looking for interns in the future from either our public administration or administration of justice and many programs we have at Citrus College, Public Works, we would love to continue the conversation. As a young man, before my career led to education, one of my first, actually it was my first job out of college, I worked in county government for the County of Orange Auditor Controller. And one of the things that I learned in the County of Orange is we were offered training at work through our neighboring community college, which happened to be Santa Ana College. So I just want you to know that if that's an idea that you believe could help support you and your mission and goals of the city, please know that at Citrus College, we would love to serve the city with any of those needs. With that, thank you for this opportunity tonight. And if we could assist by answering any questions that you might have for us, we'd be happy to answer those questions.
I just want to make one final comment. Dr. Scholes commented about that Dr. Emerson from the school district did visit Citrus College on a tour. We have tours a minimum of twice a year, and we would love to invite each and every one of you to come and tour our campus and really see what we do firsthand.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay. I know Jody has several questions. Go ahead, Jody.
Thank you for the presentation. That was awesome. I think you're doing a lot. I'm looking forward to my daughter benefiting when she gets in high school. So I'm very interested in that partnership. The other thing is that I've actually spoken with the people who are working on workforce development. So Chamber of Commerce and Kevin Morris at MIT regarding assisting young adults and adults with special needs to get into the workforce. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm curious what you're doing toward that. And also if you are engaging the regional center at all in those efforts. So that's my first question. And I did miss the last tour. My vacation fell on that and I didn't plan very well, but I look forward to the next one. So I apologize for that, but thank you.
Thank you for those comments. If I could just share a little bit and love to continue the conversation even after tonight, but I'm familiar with the regional center. I've just been at Citrus College in the past year, but in my former college, we work closely with our regional center. I've been really encouraged and excited about what I see at Citrus College. We have a strong program in support of students with special needs, both younger adults transitioning from high school per se, and older returning adults as well. An opportunity for us on top of what is a very strong DSPS program to assist our students with learning right now. We see an opportunity in what are called non-credit programs to develop specific curriculum for students with special needs that can include things ranging from independent living to personal finance, transportation skills, navigating public transportation, a whole range of of curriculum. And we see an opportunity, and I've had some experience in some kind of expanding the curriculum, specifically curriculum designed for adults with special needs to meet the goals that they may have related to either workforce training, prep for the workforce, et cetera. So I'm really proud of some things that are already in place at Citrus, but I also see some opportunities for us to grow in ways that maybe we haven't before. but I know that there's good partners like Regional Center out there who would love to partner with us.
Well, I would love to engage if needed and if you want me to. My daughter actually has special needs, so it's something I'm very passionate about. And I think you have a great opportunity in those programs to help people that may be falling through the cracks right now. So you have a chance to really make a difference in those lives. So please let me know how I can help. Thank you.
Thank you. I will follow up. Thank you.
Okay, Caesar.
I really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you for coming out tonight. I myself am a student at Citrus College, and I hope to graduate before the age of 72. But in all seriousness, I do want to commend anyone who's furthering their education regardless of how old they are, and it's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. We would love to shake your hand up at your program completion.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Spring.
other question? Yeah, Tony.
Thank you for the presentation, and I did not go to Citrus College. Didn't get the opportunity, but I do appreciate you reaching out to the city of Duarte and the school district. I am a Duarte High School graduate, and it really means a lot that, you know, Citrus was known back when I was going to Duarte High School. Citrus was known as Duarte's continuation. So, I'm really glad that you guys came out and gave a presentation, and I also would like to be able to get on that next tour. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. If I could say, we are proud to be Duarte's continuation, and also proud to be known as UCLA's prerequisite school and Harvard's prerequisite school. We've had the privilege of serving students who've transferred to the top colleges and universities in our region, in this state and out of state. And so it's just incredible what students can do from Duarte to Citrus College and beyond. And the value is the thing, to save families thousands of dollars in tuition, to still access the top colleges and universities, if that's our goal upon transfer, is a really powerful thing. And we're just honored to serve our community in that way.
Vin, go ahead.
I was once a student at Citrus long time ago. I was wondering your music program that you guys have over there. Are you guys still partnered with the LA Music Academy, or was it the Music Academy that you guys were partnered with, where the kids that take the music program in Citrus, if they qualify, the certain few would go on to the academy? Are you guys still doing that? That was, as I said, it was probably about 10.
I would need to
years
talk
ago.
with our dean, John Vaughn, but I believe we do. I've learned about so many partnerships from theater arts and music arts.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
That was something that I wasn't able to get to the next level with, but you know, I was in that program, and that was what I was aspiring to do, but I wasn't able to get to that level. But I think that's a really good program, specifically because we have the School of Arts here in the city of Duarte.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Councilmember Trung.
Well, Vin, you're far from 72, so you still got hope.
Okay, other comments? I too want to thank you for coming here. Citrus is quite the institution. I am very familiar with it. My mom was president of your foundation as far as raising funds. And let's see, I'm trying to think. I have a granddaughter now in the early college program. I also was the meanest mom because I made my two daughters go through your automotive repair course so that they would not be taken advantage of in automotive repair shops. So, and they have used that. Both of them are well educated, but I can tell you right now, they have used that automotive course more than most of the other classes they've taken. So thank you. Thank you for what you do. You have a really reliable, effective organization. And I appreciate the fact that we have two of the elected representatives here, as well as the superintendent. Is that what they call you? Okay.
Yeah, superintendent president. Yep.
So, and we look forward to, I'm going to take a tour. Again, I've been over there many, many times with, and I love the Citrus Singers. You put on programs there that rival stuff on Broadway. So again, congratulations. Well done. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to hearing from you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. Right now, we are at item 4C, and this is entitled Duarte Bites Back, Mosquito Safety Presentation. And as I sit up here, Levy, I just want to let you know, it's not the mosquitoes, it's the black flies. So,
Yes.
and I know, I've been on the vector control board for probably the only person that's been on longer than me is Henry Morgan. So I know that black flies can breed in any kind of water. But that's what I have is black fly bites. So I don't know what we can do about it except just dress up in clothing where they can't get to us. But anyway, for all of you that don't know him, this is Levy's son. He puts on a mean presentation. It's always good. And I know he is well prepared tonight. Are you going to be able to come to our night out? I can't remember whether I talked with Jason about that or not.
I can check with Jason to see if there's communication between city staff and him.
When is our, Brian, it's the 2nd, August 2nd? Yeah, I think it is. It's the first Tuesday in August. And I think we had the big mosquito last time. So if you're able to, put that on your calendar.
I can double check that as well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We appreciate that. Okay. Levy, we'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Mayor. And my name is Levy's son from the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District. And again, on behalf of our agency, my condolences to the community of Duarte for your loss. Despite our large name, we do something very simple, and that's to control and monitor for mosquito-borne diseases. Next slide, please. And they are a big deal for a lot of people, mostly because of their bites. They're quite aggressive, very similar to the black flies. They can bite quite aggressively, but they're small. They're a quarter size in length, and which means those big mosquitoes with the long legs bouncing around your light, those are crane flies, sometimes called mosquito hawks. I personally wish they were actually living up to their name because unfortunately, mosquito hawks or crane flies do not bite. They just freak you out a little bit as they bounce around your face, but they are a good sign of a healthy ecosystem and biodiversity of insects there, and great food source for birds. So the ones we want to be careful of are the mosquitoes in our city. There are two different groups of mosquitoes, so you're all going to become mosquito experts tonight. The first group or genus is called Culex. If you grew up in Duarte or anywhere in Southern California, you know these mosquitoes as the ones that come out and bite you around dusk. Unfortunately, they can spread West Nile virus. West Nile virus is zoonotic, which means it can transfer from animals to people. The way it does it is not strictly from birds to people. Mosquitoes will bite a bird that may be infected with West Nile virus, and from there, the mosquito will bite us. With Culex, mosquitoes tend to, at least Culex mosquitoes tend to bite birds first, but because of the way we've urbanized our environment, they actually end up biting people when there are no birds around. And that's how we get West Nile virus. Unfortunately, there's no cure or vaccine. Next slide, please. The other group or genus of mosquitoes is called the ankylobiters or invasive Aedes mosquitoes. They are black and white striped, and they do not belong here. So if we get rid of every single invasive Aedes mosquitoes from Duarte and around Southern California, it will not cause any impact because they do not belong here. They belong more in tropical environments. Unfortunately, they do account for a lot of human suffering around the world, including the cause of outbreaks of Zika, yellow fever, dengue fever, and chikungunya. And they do bite aggressively all day. I have one proof on my finger here or on my hand here, where I was just standing outside holding my groceries, talking to a neighbor, saying hello, walk inside, and next thing you know, I have a bite. These mosquitoes like to snack on people. They primarily prefer people, unlike our other group of mosquitoes called culex that prefer birds. So they actually thrive in cities. So no matter what major city you go to around the world, especially in Europe and parts of Asia and Africa and South America, you will find Aedes mosquitoes. Now, what's interesting about them is that they lay their eggs individually on any surface above the waterline. What you see on your screen is a toy. That toy was partially submerged in stagnant water. Unfortunately, a kid left it out. And you'll see that dotted line that looks like dirt. Well, those little dots are invasive Aedes eggs that have been stuck on there. Now, what's really interesting is that the culex mosquitoes I talked about earlier lay their eggs like an egg raft. So if you toss out that water, they're gone. With these, if you toss out that water, the eggs are still stuck there and they're viable for at least a year. So that's why some neighborhoods may find themselves inundated by these Aedes mosquitoes. The next year it's gone. And the year after that, they come swarming back. It's possibly because somewhere in someone's yard, there's a bottle cap of water or a plant saucer that has stagnant water or had no water and suddenly fill back up and it reactivates these eggs. Next slide, please. Of course, one representation of Aedes mosquitoes is in the form of our character. Her name is Ada Ease. She has made an appearance here before, and she represents the original invasion of Aedes mosquitoes. Unfortunately, because of human nature, we have allowed these Aedes mosquitoes to continue to spread. And next slide, please. We are allowing the next generation of these invasive species to thrive. That is our next generation of Ada Ease. She is brand new and she is much more called advanced and entrenched in our community. And we do bring her out to some educational events. She has appeared in concerts in the park. She's appeared at City Council as well. Next slide, please. Of course, it's all about stagnant water. Now, when we talk to residents in Duarte, they actually know about stagnant water. They know some of the common places you find them. Everything from those basketball hoop stands filled with water to buckets. Next slide, please. But they may not always know about the more cryptic sources, the trash that's laying around with water, the old cup or a shovel that may be laying around for a while, or even some containers filled with water for animals. Next slide, please. Of course, we also have our swimming pools. A swimming pool of that type filled with nasty green stagnant water can produce 3 million mosquitoes a month. Mosquitoes have a flight range of about 25 miles, but unfortunately for us, there are plenty of water sources within that 25 miles, so mosquitoes don't fly very far from their source. Luckily, we do have a swimming pool program where we fly a plane across San Gabriel Valley. We take a snapshot of the pools that are potential to create mosquitoes, and we make contact with those owners to rectify any issues that may result.
Okay, I have a question regarding the swimming pools. Do you put the mosquito fish in there? Is that what works, or do you spray the top of the water?
It depends on the situation. If what we try to do is have the property owners remedy that issue by draining it out completely. But if they do not have the means to do so, whether it's financial means or they can't physically do it, we do offer a short-term solution of putting mosquito fish in there until we can work with them to resolve that issue. Because we have found out that many residents may not have the financial means to completely renovate or even take out a swimming pool because it is a lengthy process and expensive.
Okay, thank you.
In addition to monitoring for swimming pools, we are out there in the public. We primarily serve the public sources of stagnant water, everything from gutters to underground storm drains. So the storm drains you see as you drive by, you pop them open, not the sewer ones, the underground storm drain ones, you'll usually find stagnant water and mosquitoes down there. Because in our underground storm drains, it is a nice, warm, humid environment that allows mosquitoes to thrive year round. So even as we near the holidays, it's 40 degrees above ground, but underground, we still have mosquitoes, which is why we have our underground storm drain program. And you may see our folks in bright yellow trucks popping up lids in the road, inspecting for mosquitoes. Of course, we have education, goes out to schools. We have that giant inflatable in the top right corner, or top left corner rather. And from far away, the kids see it and they think it's a bounce house. And then they come running up to it really excited, and we trap them in an educational opportunity where they learn all about mosquito-borne diseases and what they can do to protect themselves and their family. And yes, it is very much available to all cities for free. And we set up traps in every city as well. These traps are not meant to trap out mosquitoes from the environment. That's pretty darn impossible. They're meant to be a snapshot of disease risk. So far this year, we have not had any West Nile virus detected in Duarte. The only place where we have detected them this year is in the city of Pasadena. But because birds do carry West Nile virus through San Gabriel Valley, it's safe to assume that they might be circulating right now through many cities. Next slide, please. For residents who want to do a little bit more, we do offer the Bite Back program. And this is essentially a mosquito, it's a mosquito neighborhood watch program, to put it simply. It allows neighbors to come together, rally with each other, and bring us in. And what we do is we actually go property by property on that block and reset the neighborhood so that we can help provide personalized mosquito protection plans for each neighbor. So some neighbors may have certain issues that are very unique to their property, and we help them identify and work on it. It has been quite successful with neighborhoods that have come to us, and it's completely free. We're more than happy to do this because we have found from our friends on the East Coast regarding these invasive Aedes that they wished decades ago that they had done something like this, because now all they're doing is spraying and also trying their best to stay on top of certain flare-ups of these Aedes mosquitoes. Next slide, please. And of course, at the end of the day, because of our city environment, there will always be some kind of mosquitoes, which is why we do recommend folks to use repellent, which is also effective against black flies. Black flies do breed and produce out of running water. So lots of rivers coming from the mountains, and also any kind of man-made water features like fountains can produce black flies. They're really tiny flies, and they bite very aggressively. And we do tell people, if you have any of those man-made or ornamental fountains that are running, turn it off for a day, because the black flies thrive on running water because they stick onto the rock on the surface and they feed on anything that flows by them. So when you turn off that water for 24 hours, it kills them off. Of course, when you turn it off, you get stagnant water. So make sure you turn it back on again to prevent mosquitoes from taking hold. One thing I do want to point out that we have noticed a lot in Duarte, and actually in many communities across the foothills, is the issue of dense vegetation. People love green. They love the green scenery of their yard, of their homes, but we have found out that because of this, it actually provides a safe refuge for adult mosquitoes. So these dense vegetation, which kind of look like Jurassic Park, they don't create mosquitoes, but rather they provide the humidity and shade for mosquitoes from the heat. Mosquitoes are terrible at regulating their body temperature. So when it's really hot like today, they die off. So where do they go? Inside any kind of property that may be humid and shady. So we ask people to trim it back, or even better yet, get rid of it and replace it with California native plants. You save water, you also save yourself the grief of having all these mosquito bites, but also knowing that you're creating a more bite-free property. And for residents, if you see any issues in the public area, or if you notice even a swimming pool that may have gone bad, call us on the phone number on the screen, or submit a tip online on a URL there. I do also have something that's brand new this year that we're pushing out to the cities. We are a small team of about 5 folks serving 26 cities, so we cannot be at every single event in every single city. So we have produced something that has been highly requested by several of our cities, is a mosquito bite prevention box. In this box, we have mosquito repellent wipes and brochures that you can sit out at your city table. You pop it open, and we ask that you give 1 to every person that's there. If you need a refill, give us a call. Our information is actually on the back for staff. So as they're sitting there, they see that's empty, they can reach out to us right away, and we can send a refill for this. So that's only if we can't make it, you have this as an option. I am more than happy to give this to someone here tonight. But that does conclude my update for mosquito control.
Okay, thank you. As usual, you have just a wealth of information, Levy. I appreciate what you do. I think we all do. So let's see, do my colleagues have any questions for Levy? Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well tonight.
Thank you for the presentation. And we'll take that box because, last 3rd of July, I got ate up.
Oh,
So,
That might be something good. Now that you bring that up, Tony. Do we have, we've got a huge 3rd of July fireworks show coming up. Is that something, Manuel, do we have an area where we could put a few of these boxes out there so people could use the wipes? Okay, maybe, do you have like 4 boxes that we could have?
We can definitely procure 4 boxes for you.
Okay, and because this is a big event, there bound to be 4,000 to 5,000 people there.
And even if we can't do all the boxes, at least we can provide a separate non-branded box that you can restock. So we can
Okay.
actually provide extra repellent wipes, because in here, we do have these repellent wipes in here, so they can take with them. And we also include information on how and where they can buy repellent as well. The goal is to not just give this to them and have goodbye so long, is so that they learn how to use this in the future when it comes to future park events.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we appreciate that. You can leave them probably with Manuel.
Okay, yeah.
He'll, oh, okay. And Levy, Jody has a question.
What do you do if they come in the house then?
That has been the million-dollar question that we've been trying to tackle as well.
Okay.
We've been consulting with folks from CDC all the way down to some of our mosquito control associations, and even some of the folks that produce pesticides. And there's really been nothing yet that's effective indoors. There are lots of things effective indoors, but it's not safe for us once it's produced. Right now, we're really pushing hard on exclusion. I've had them inside my house too. It is a nightmare. I'm usually standing there with an electric racket, just waiting to see if they come by. There are some options. I've heard that where they have certain permethrin treated netting that can be applied to screens, so that maybe that they try to exit your home, they hit that permethrin treated screen, that they may die, but that's not always effective.
Okay, other questions or comments? Okay, go ahead, Tony.
It's true, is there a certain blood type? I mean, is that a myth, or is there a certain blood type that the mosquitoes like better than others? Because like I said, I get bit, and my brother, they fly by him and don't touch him, but I know I taste better than him, so.
I am envious of your brother as well. There has been one study that showed blood type O as being more attractive, but that's only one study and has yet to be replicated, so we can't conclude there is a blood type. What I have been told by entomologists and epidemiologists is that our skin produces over 300 compounds, and somehow it lands within the scale of deliciousness for certain mosquitoes. So some of us, when we emit that odor, and the way we breathe out with our CO2 happens to be really attractive to the mosquitoes. Others just not happen to be, but we have also been told that for those who say they've never been bit, they actually do get bit. It's just that body does not produce the allergic reaction. We get those welts because mosquitoes actually spit, or their saliva is inside our body, and our body is trying to reject that, so we get an allergic reaction. Myself, I get huge welts, especially from these black and white 80s mosquitoes. My cousin, nothing, but I have seen it actually land on her, bite her, get a full blood meal, its abdomen filling up with red blood of hers, fly away, and she has no allergic reaction whatsoever. So it may very well be that he is getting bit, but maybe not the allergic reaction is there.
I know.
I smell better and I taste better than him, that's all.
Okay, other questions or comments? Okay, I will just end this with something from the Dalai Lama, who said, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito.
Very true.
All right. Thanks very much, Levy.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting information, and hopefully people were watching, and thank you for all of the mosquito stuff that we'll have for this weekend at our show.
Absolutely.
fireworks
Thank you
show.
so much. And
Okay.
Stay bite free.
Great. Thanks, Agat. Oh, and if you would also check on that for our neighborhood watch night out on the 2nd, that would be helpful.
Yes. Who would I contact, or who can I give a business card to, perhaps, to make sure that we close the loop?
Probably Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Brian.
Give Dan one too, you know.
Yeah, you can give Dan one. Brian, what's the movie that night for Neighborhood Watch Night Out? Really? Did you just see my face go? Okay, thank you. Levy,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, we're at item number 5, which is announcements of upcoming community events. And I know for a fact, I have, let's see, we have Marianne Lutz, who would like to speak to us. And then we also have Joanna G. Doesn't matter who goes first. Joanna, do you want to go first? Or, okay. That's at the end.
Good evening, City Council. My deepest sympathy to Zidal's family, to you and to the community. And also my deepest sympathy to you, Councilmember Garcia, for the loss of your friend, your best friend, who was also a supporter for this community as well. On top of that, we have summer discovery program going on at the library. It runs to August 14th. You can sign up online or you could get a paper card from the library. You could win prizes for reading. We have a teen program tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. called Scratch Art. Very simple program. They get a black piece of paper and they get to draw any kinds of designs. We also have a virtual program tomorrow at 6 p.m. We also have a brochure at the library, Rethinking Resilience to Wildlife, Wildfire, I mean. That's a virtual program. We also have Smarty Pants Storytime every Fridays at 11 a.m. Registration is required. We also have a special kids program on Tuesday, July 12th at 3 p.m. We have a performer coming who's going to share stories around the world. And also to let you know, we did run out of COVID kits, so we have no more. Any questions? That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As usual. Excellent.
Good evening. Again, my name is Marianne Lutz. I'm a former council member and mayor of the city of Monrovia, as most of you know, now I serve at Citrus College. But I wanted to speak for a few minutes about our dear friend Zidal. As a neighbor, as a colleague of Councilmember Paris Karachi, and as a friend to her, I think it's important that we share the love when we can. And I wanted to just share with you that to a person that I know who knew Zidal, all you would do is say their name, say her name, and they would smile. You can't help but smile when you think about Zidal, when you see her face. Every event I ever went to in the city world, if Zidal was there, she would stand up and we would make sure she was standing because we couldn't see her half the time. But she was the smallest, biggest person in the room. She would say something, the world would just turn on Zidal. That's who she was. She brought the voice of Duarte to the region, to the state, and even nationally. She embodied everything that was good and right and positive about the city of Duarte. I particularly felt close to Zidal. We began to serve our cities at approximately the same time. And the year that I was elected mayor of the city of Monrovia, she served the city of Duarte as mayor. And she and I hatched a plan, and I know Margaret will remember this. We created SWAG. Do you remember? Serving with a Goal, otherwise known as the Monrovia Duarte Youth Leadership Summit. What we did is we started a program for, I think we went on for 4 years. We would take turns. Monrovia would host, and we would invite all of the students from Monrovia and Duarte to come to a summit. We have topics about education and hygiene and how to get along with your friends and how to learn things. We had educational things, we had game playing, and we had fabulous speakers. And then the next year we'd hosted here in the city of Duarte. And again, we would bring fabulous speakers and games and programs that touch them. And we'd touch on environmental issues and self-care issues and anything that our youth seemed to need, we tried to bring through the summit. I think I said earlier that Zeidel was passionate about Duarte. And one of the areas in Duarte that Zeidel was the most passionate about was the youth. This was truly a gift that Zeidel brought to the youth of Monrovia and Duarte. She's left us way too early. Her years of service, her years of giving to this community were some of the brightest we'll ever know. I know that I'm a better person having worked with Zeidel. I was a better council member and mayor having known and worked with Zeidel. And I know that not only was the city of Duarte honored and made better because of Zeidel, but your neighbors, the city of Monrovia, was as well. I thank all of you for letting me spend some time to share my thoughts about Zeidel. I know we're all in pain, but seeing that smile in our mind's eye and remembering that she was like a genie in a bottle, just the Energizer bunny that would never give up and never end. And that brings a smile. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. It's, you both did a lot together and you did a lot for our communities. So thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Marianne, I have to tell you a story about Zeidel that every time on the council that they mention Monrovia, I always say, no, we don't say the M word around here. And Zeidel, she always, every time she would get on me and she would tell me, hey, we have to love our neighbors so they'll love us back. And I go, you went to Duarte High School. You know we don't like the M people. And she's like, we got to love our neighbors so they'll love us back. And so I just want you to know, she didn't only love Duarte. She really loved Duarte, but she also loved our neighbors.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Okay, Victoria.
So for the city's announcements of upcoming events, we do have our Independence Day celebration and fireworks show happening on Sunday, July 3rd. Gates will open at 5:30 and it goes from 5:30 to 9:30 with the fireworks starting at 9. That's at Duarte Sports Park in the upper baseball field. If you want to get a VIP table, which includes an umbrella or includes a picnic table, 6 chairs, and an event swag bag, you can go to accessduarte.com under Parks and Recreation, and that is available. You can also, if you want to watch the fireworks from a totally different view, you can attend our red, white, and pool party at the Duarte Pool. That'll go from 7 to 9:30. There's dinner, music, and you can watch the fireworks while floating in the water. That's for residents 12 and under, it's $10. If you're above the age of 13, it's $15. For non-residents 12 and under, it's $15, and ages 13 above, it's $20. Again, you can register at accessduarte.com under Parks and Recreation. We also have coming up, our summer concerts in the park series is back. That'll be Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. at a new location at Beardsley Park. It's free, and the first concert is July 13th with the Wise Guys Big Band. One more announcement, we have the, as a member of the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, they are hosting the San Gabriel Valley Wildfire Adaptation Summit, which is a virtual summit happening on Thursday, July 14th from 11 to 12:30 p.m. They are 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. They're going to have speakers, including from LA County Fire, to talk about how residents can better adapt their homes to wildfires, the fact that we live in the San Gabriel Valley foothills and wildfires are a bit pervasive, just the things that you can do to keep yourself safe. You can register online at the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments website. So that's sgvcog.org/wildfire summit. Any questions?
Tony?
I promise I'm gonna not say no more after a couple of words. The San Gabriel, the Wildfire Summit, is that in person or is it?
It's virtual.
Virtual, okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right. Thank you, Victoria. Okay, we are now at, if there's no one else that wants to speak, we're at the oral communications, which is item 6. Okay, seeing no one step forward, our next item is the consent calendar, which includes items A through K. Is there anything that people would like to pull? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? Any objections? If not, so ordered. There were no items removed. So that's item 8. And now we'll go to item 9, no public hearings. So now we're at item 10, which is business items. That's the authorization of a notice of completion for the infrastructure modernization program project with Climatech. Craig.
Thank you. If you remember, about 3 years back, the city signed a contract with Climatech to do energy efficiency upgrades to the city. I have to personally thank Dan Jordan, our city manager, for making me the project manager on this case. I knew he was going to smile when I said that. But they're completed with the project. Actually, they've been completed for several months. We've been going through some final details with Climatech, but I wanted to give you an update on some of the things that got done along with this energy efficiency upgrade project. On the long term, we're going to see some savings that comes from that. So $2.8 million worth of work, but that included lots of things. One of the things that included was LED street lighting and upgrades of LED street lights in the city. There's about 700 local street lights that were converted from high pressure sodium to LED lights. In addition to that, there was a companion project that was not a part of the Climatech project that I'll just point out now, is we also worked with Edison to get the Edison lights within the city upgraded to LED lights. That's about 854 of those lights. So all the cities, all the city's street lights are now LED, much more energy efficient than we had in the past. And the reception for those lights have been very positive also. It's better night lighting in most cases, maybe all cases. Also building lighting, all the city buildings, they were upgraded to LED lighting. The HVAC controls, heating and air conditioning controls, they were upgraded to Wi-Fi access for improved control. And some of the systems were upgraded in some of our buildings that needed to be upgraded. We also had solar improvements. That's solar panels to City Hall and solar thermal for the fitness center. And also irrigation upgrades. All of our irrigation controllers were upgraded. Flow meters were added, and then Wi-Fi controllers or smart controllers were added. The project is complete, and with this notice of completion, we can make the final payment to Climatech. If you have any questions, hopefully I can answer them for you.
Okay. Questions? Yeah, go ahead, Caesar.
I have a question about the smart controllers. I know some time ago, well, first of all, I want to thank staff because there was an issue at Royal Oaks Park and we were able to get a city manager to contact somebody. It was a weekend and they handled it very quickly. So I want to thank staff for that. But what do we have in place for when we are closed and there is an issue that residents need to contact somebody with our sprinkler system?
We typically, I think in public safety, you could call public safety and they'll be able to contact us. We have an on-call person in the field services department, and we there's always somebody available to address that. there may be limited access sometimes over the weekend, but in most cases, we've been pretty efficient in terms of being able to address those issues. These flow controllers work in most cases, but there's sometimes when they can't be addressed. Sometimes they can be addressed remotely. Sometimes they can't in terms of irrigation leaks. It depends where the leak is.
Okay, and then with the watering requirements that we've changed, are we doing some changes ourselves as far as what days we have our sprinklers on or at what times?
Yeah, well, we up until this point, we've reduced significantly the amount that we water. We are meeting the state requirements. There are several different areas where we do irrigation. Some are in the neighborhood landscape maintenance districts. Those are residential areas, and in those particular areas, we've reduced down to the 2 times per week. There will be some increase for our parks over that requirement, but only when the weather is a bit hotter, and that's just to keep the grass alive. But we still have cut back significantly in all our areas.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, other questions, comments? I have one question, Craig. It says we replaced the mission bell lights with new fixtures rather than retrofit. Which lights are those?
Out in the street, several parts of the city, a lot of the city lights, they're the bells that you see along the
Right.
street. The initial plan was to have those retrofitted, but when we got into the middle of that, we realized that it wasn't going to be possible to do that. It would not have a warranty on it, and some of them were worn more than we initially thought. So those were completely replaced with new bells and new lights. It's been very efficient.
Oh, so we still have the mission bells.
Yeah, we still have the mission bells. They were just replaced with new bells as opposed to taking the old light fixture out and putting a new one in.
Okay,
That's why they look so nice, because they're
new.
bright and shiny and new.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so we have a recommendation for the council to authorize a notice of completion with Climatech. Do we have a motion if there are no more questions or comments?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to go with staff's recommendation. Any other discussion? Any objections? All right, if not, so ordered. Thank you. Okay, item 11 is continuation of oral communications. Anyone that would like to come up and speak? I see Steve is approaching the microphone. Go ahead, Steve.
Steve Hernandez. When I found out about Zidal, it was probably for me a very traumatic moment because I've always seen her as a kid. And granted, at 49, she's not a kid, but I have a daughter that's 47, so they're still our kids. And but I remember when she first ran for city council, she was so ambitious and so excited about that. And she didn't make it. She tried again, made it. I think that was in 2001. And, she, in all that time, never missed a meeting. And I think that when she missed 2 in a row, the last 2, I knew it was not good. And when I found out that she had passed, it was really a moment. But throughout her time on the council, she really put her heart and soul into that. But she believes in the city. And she was a great example to many people for that reason, because she really encouraged people to get involved in many ways, from our youth to our seniors. She spared no one. And my wife and I, when we went to the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion with her, really had a good time sitting, we were next to her, but I think it was probably one of the most memorable times because her and my wife really kind of got along really great. But they were from the same area, not immediately, but the same area in the Philippines. And she really was an example. But what I noticed most about her was her character. It was impeccable. She always left a lasting impression, and she always made sure, right up to the last minute, that if there was something that needed to be done, she was going to do her best to do it. And she will be missed. She'll be seriously missed. And I'm kind of glad that somebody thought to put flowers there for her in her memory, because flowers do her justice. They are just as beautiful as she was inside and out. That's really all I wanted to say, but I will miss her. I will really miss her.
Thank you, Steve. You're like all of us. Thank you. Hello, Mark.
The rival seat to Del happened. It's been a long time since I was last up here, but Zion was not just a great community member, a great member of the city council, but she was also a Falcon. Class of 1989, the year after me. The very last time I got to talk to her in person was about a couple of days after my mother Pauline passed away, to remind her to tell, I don't know if Marla was still the city clerk at that time, but to have Marla put her name under a German in memory of, and just as she got it right away. And I thank her for that. And she wasn't doing that well either. She was, I mean, I knew her right to her front door on Elda, and so she was really a legend, like the Star News or CNN or even the now defunct Philippine National Network, ABS-CBN, called her a trailblazer, pioneer for municipal affairs for all the Philippine American community throughout Southern California and throughout all over the Philippines. And all of us Falcons were proud of her when she was finally elected up here almost 21 years ago. As I'm going to get the starters at a editorial board and put her down and criticize her for being too young, a young immature brat or something to that effect. That's why I let my starter subscription expire. But just, I mean, she wasn't just, she was also like the youngest member ever in city council history. She was like 29, 30-ish or so. I was at her wedding at Royal Oaks Park, and one of the city manager was a Bradbury at the time. He was the officiate at the wedding. And a lot of friends were there, close friends, a few of our fellow Falcons. It's hard to explain how Zion was. I mean, she, when I went to see her, this is the last time in person. I mean, she was sort of crying a little bit. I can't believe your mother was just as popular as I was. And I said, oh, thanks, Zion. No, really. I mean, what else can I say about her? I mean, you guys all dealt with her in person too when she would, I had to drive her to City Hall, and like, she would talk to you, or I think she talked to you once, but you probably don't remember that. But you know, it's bad that I'm gonna miss my mom, because this coming September will be 1 year since she passed. But this hits the city and all you guys here, all the employees, all you live on. It'll hit the school board, all of us Falcons twice as hard. And when Lena and Russell announced the federal services, I expect massive attendance from most of you, if not all of you, and all of my fellow Falcons too, current and former school board members, teachers in the high school. Godspeed, Zion. May the Hurricane generation never forget your love for that cat. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Would anyone else like to speak under oral communications?
My name is Ryan, and I'm sorry for the loss. I have never seen Miss Paris. I hope I say that correctly. But I understand how it sounds like she's a great council member. I feel a little bit awkward to take this to city business, but there seems to be like for Buena Vista and Duarte, there's an intersection there where it's located near the train tracks. It seems to break down pretty often and then it turns into a stop sign where all four intersections are supposed to yield. And right now, like it seems to be broken for the past 3-4 days for some reason. I might be just imagining things, but I'm just wondering like, is there anybody who is well aware of that intersection over there? Like what's the downtime? Because it seems to be breaking down pretty often. And then I almost got into a car crash because I wasn't the you're supposed to park behind the rail, right? So then it's kind of hard to see onto the left-hand side incoming cars. And sometimes there's a little bit of confusion on which car came to the intersection first. So you would see like cars getting in the middle of the intersection and just slowly just trying to navigate around that area. So I'm just trying to see if there's any way that either like the council can do anything about it, or if I do see it breaking down, who would I call to address that issue? But-
Okay, thank you. We appreciate your coming here, Ryan. We know that there have been problems. Maybe after the meeting, which we're going to be ending up here pretty soon, if you could talk with either Brian Villalobos or Craig Hensley, the two gentlemen sitting at the end of the table there, they may be able to update you and we'll go ahead and try to rectify the situation.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, would anyone else like to speak under oral communications? Okay, then what we will do is we're going to have items from city council, housing authority, staff members, et cetera. And then we will adjourn, not only in Zeidel's memory, but we also have, and I had forgotten about Margarito. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about Margarito. I don't believe I knew him at all. So, all right, but we'll start down at that end of the table. I see Brian shaking his head. He doesn't have anything. Craig? Okay, thank you. Manuel? Kristen? Dan?
Nothing tonight, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ty? Okay, well then, you know what? I will start with you because you can tell us a little bit about Margarito.
In a matter of a week, two very influential people in my life have passed. Two leaders, two people who believed in giving others opportunities. I'll start with Margarito Cabrera was one of the owners of Cabrera's restaurants here in the city of Duarte. I started working for him about 8 years ago. And we built a very close friendship. Came from Mexico at the age of 10. Worked as a dishwasher at Hilton Hotels until he became part owner of the restaurant here in Duarte, and then he opened up his own business in Baldwin Park, where he took me on with him and gave me the role of manager. I started with him as a bartender, as a karaoke host, and he believed in me to help him grow his business. He was 3 days short of his 39th birthday. a visionary, an entrepreneur. And just like Zairo, had an unforgettable smile, the life of the party. And it's just been some time processing these losses. Zairo, everyone who knew her, and there's nothing I can say that would be new for anybody, but I remember being a Dart volunteer and having Zairo come to the high school and speak. And she, we weren't a voting age, but she would talk to us like, we were important. We had a voice, and she was genuine. It wasn't, I think I said it earlier, it was never politics for her. It's just who she was. She cared about the youth. She's one of the reasons how I got on AmeriCorps. In a closed session, she said, you know what, I'll take them. And then she took me to the Y, where I worked with at-risk youth after school. And she became like family. I remember when my grandpa passed away, we all scrambled to the facility where he was at, and we're waiting for the coroner, and we forgot to pick up my sister and my nephew from school. And here comes Zairo with my sister and my nephew, and we're like, how'd you get them out of school? She said, I'm the mayor. And I was like, okay. We were very thankful she adjourned in their memory. And in 2018, she gave me a call and she said, would you like to run for city council? And I said, me? And we had a long conversation. She believed, she believed, I'm just humbled that she believed in me. And when the election results came in and we were short, she called me, she said, be proud of the campaign you ran. She told me to keep your head up and come to the next council meeting and show your face and don't stop and don't give up and keep going. And a few weeks ago, she shared that we went to contract cities together. And she said, hey, you're one of my projects. And I want you to know how proud I am that, we're colleagues now. And even though we were close, there was always that respect. I always saw her as a mayor and asked her for advice. So to hear her tell me these words they meant a lot. Contract Cities was special because it was my first conference, but it was also special because I got to see her walk into the dining hall where the conference was taking place, and everybody, Zairo, and people were coming and taking pictures, and I was like, wow, she's a celebrity, not just in Duarte, but everywhere she went, she made an impact. And gone too soon, definitely. She also had a lot of plans, but it's truly been an honor that a project she believed in was completed, and regardless of what happens in this next election, I'm gonna continue to honor her and the community and the youth, and be an example. I hope to be a good example for the upcoming youth, and just honor her memory. We can go on and on, but she's gonna be missed. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your words. Okay, who wants to go next? Okay, Tony?
I don't know where I could start a lot of places. I remember when I first came up to City Hall to complain about a sign that was put in my front yard. And I looked at the board, and I looked at the pictures of the council members, and I was like, I know her. I go, but nah, that can't be who I think it is. I should have read the number, or at least read the name on the bottom, right? So I went up to the Marla, and I said, I need to see the person in charge of, at the time it was, District 7, District 7. And she's like, there's no one that's in charge of District 7. District 7 is vacant. I said, well, I need to talk to the mayor then. And they go, well, she's like, well, the mayor's not here. I said, well, is there a phone number I can call her? Or, I mean, I know y'all can get her hold of him. And she says, yeah, and she gave me Zyda's cell phone number. So I called Zyda, and I say, how you doing, Madam Mayor? I said, you don't know me. My name is Tony Lewis. I live, and I give her my address. And she goes, I know who you are, TL. And if you know me from high school, everybody called me TL. No one ever called me Tony or by my last name. I was always TL. And she goes, I know who you are, TL. And I'm like, who is this? I was like, and she's like, Zyda. And I said, little basketball, Zyda? And she's like, and she starts laughing. And she said, yes, that's me. And I say, well, Zyda, they put a sign in my front yard and I need it out. And she was like, what are you talking about? And so we got into it, and she was like, I was like, I need you to do something about it. And she's like, I was like, and why don't we have a representative down in, at the time I called it the low end. Why do we want to have a representative down in the low end? And she's like, the lady, she resigned. And I go, well, how come you guys ain't picked someone else? And she's like, well, we're having selections. Won't you put an application in? I was like, I'm a fireman. I don't know nothing about no politics. And she goes, you love Duarte, don't you? I say, absolutely, with all my heart. She goes, you know community service, don't you? I go, yes, ma'am. 27 years on the fire department. And so, I was already at City Hall, so I went to Marla and said, can I have an application for City Council? Never thinking, no way they were gonna pick me, because like I said, I wasn't a politician. And as you know, I was selected. And after a week of being selected, there was a budget meeting. There was all kinds of stuff going on. I was like, Zyda, I'm over my head. I don't want to do this. I have no idea. I was like, I'm sitting in the meetings, I'm taking notes, and I don't know what I'm taking notes about, but I'm taking notes. And she was like, you got this. You can do it. You're a Falcon. Falcons don't quit. And I was like, and so I will never forget. And, her little pep talk, and she was one of the reasons that I'm here today, because I think I would have quit. But thanks to her, that, like I said, I'm here. And I have another quick story. When she was on the basketball team, and no, she's 5'0", and she was on the basketball team. And I happen to know the varsity basketball coach. His name was Mark Smith. And I was like, Mark, I go, why you got that little girl out there? The smallest girl out there is your point guard. And he was like, if I had 5 more of those, we would be state champs. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, it's not the size of the dog, it's the size of the dog's heart. And if I could take her heart out and put it in the rest of these 5 girls, I would have a championship team. And I'll never forget that. And I remember going to their practice and saying, having the basketball and running drills. And I remember I had the ball, and I was like, and she come playing defense against me, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? And she goes, don't talk, do it. And I started laughing because she was really aggressive. And so, that's how she was, she made you laugh and, she's just a wonderful person. And I truly, truly am going to miss her with all my heart. Rest in peace, Idaho.
Thank you, Tony. Jody?
I'll try and do this quickly and briefly. I haven't known Zidal as long as everyone else here has. I met her at the end of 2018. We became friends at the beginning of 2019. She had given me her number and I decided to reach out to her and talk to her about possibly running for city council. And so the things that stand out for me, besides my husband and my daughter, I've probably spent the most time with her over the last 3.5 years. I got to see her before she got sick, and then when she started getting sick, and then when she was diagnosed, and nothing changed for her. Her physicality did a little bit and her energy level, but I remember going to the hospital after her 7-hour brain surgery, and she was standing up, smiling. I'm sorry. She asked me to go and get her a passion fruit tea and a chocolate scone. So I went to Starbucks and I bought it back. And I was later to find out that the best passion fruit tea is actually from coffee bean and tea. And so, she knew what she wanted, right? Like she didn't change. After that, the cancer didn't change her. The cancer didn't beat her. And, there are many things like that, right? She liked the roasted chicken from Costco, Asian pears from Sprouts. She didn't like the clam chowder from Bella Sara because it had white wine in it and she could sort of taste it. On and on. And, she was tenacious. So I'd text and be like, hey, you want a decaf mocha from Starbucks? That was her drink from Starbucks. She's like, no, thank you. But a taro milk tea from boba from Sherry Tea sounds really good. So then, boba sounded way better than Starbucks, and I'd head over there. And, I loved that about her. She lived life on her terms. She didn't change. She was tenacious and supportive of the youth in the community. And she was able to do that because she had this great family behind her too, right? Her husband and their relationship was enviable. He was always there for her. They were a perfect match, which I know now even more because Lino has shared some videos of before they were married. And now I know Casey has danced with her to feel like you better put a ring on it. And they did a cheerleading dance together. So I've seen the video and now I'll talk to Casey a little bit about that and try and get something out of him. Jack, who's just the most handsome, affectionate, compassionate child, and her BFF. Mr. Parras, who she never wanted to talk politics with, but I think that he actually was the voice in the back of her head, even if sometimes it was an alert when she saw him walking up, but still, for the most part, everything good. She really respected him. Her mother is just the most humble, wonderful person, and her brothers, their spouses, and her nephews. She had this incredible family and village that supported her and thought the world of her. And it showed every day in how she supported all of us in the city. And I'll miss her very much. And the city will. a huge loss for us. But I think she also died on her terms. I think it was the mic drop of her performance. And I think she was ready. So we love you. We miss you. And we always will. Thank you. So sorry for crying.
Thank you, Jody. Feel the way we all do. Thank you. Vin.
Well, we have quite a few things in common up here. Us, Caesar talks about him being her project, and Tony talking about her convincing him to run. I was one of those guys too. Funny thing, I officially met her and ran into her when she was the mayor of Duarte. In my career, I tend to do events in different cities to just represent my company. And there was a event at Encanto Park. It was, I think, the family day out. She was mayor at that time, but she was a contact person for that event. I got the number, I called contact to see if I can have a booth or a tent there. And she saw my last name. She saw my last name. She's like, I know you. I know you. It's okay. My name is Vin Trung. I've been in Duarte for about 30 something years. And I know you're the current mayor, so you probably do. If you run my records, you can see the schools and everything I've gone to. She's like, no, I don't know you like that. I know you. I know your brother. I know your sister. I know your neighbors. And she started naming every single one of them. I was like, what the heck? How do you know? She's like, went to school with your sister, went to school with your brother, played on the tennis team. Your neighbor is my best friend. I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome. I had no idea my family was that well known here, but she's like, there's not too many Chinese people in Duarte at that time, so I know who you are. So she gave me the opportunity to get that booth and tent and represent my company. And at that time, I didn't know, but she knew. She slowly kind of guided my way and my path to where I am today. Submitted a resume for commissions, Economic Development Commission. And once I was on there for a few years, I think right after the first year of that, she started talking to me about possibly running for council. Nobody wakes up and nobody grows up saying they want to be a politician or a city council member. I didn't know what the heck that entailed, but she said that I would be perfect fit because I grew up in Duarte. I know all about Duarte. I've seen where it was to where it is, and to be able to have an input on where it's going, that'd be very valuable. So that's a lot of what we have in common up here. She really helped us and guide us and pave the path for us to be where we're at. Most importantly, she was I think a pillar in her community, the Filipino community. I was fortunate enough to meet some of the Filipino elected officials throughout LA County and some of the cities. They send out a statement today that I just want to read, and I'll kind of run through this. I won't go into details, but this is from the mayor of Artesia, Melissa Hermoso. She says, as a joint body of Filipino American local elected officials from Southern California, we are saddened to hear the passing of a great trailblazer and community leader. Mayor Pro Tem and former Mayor Paris Karachi has the longest sitting United States Filipino American municipality elected official in office. Mayor Pro Tem Paris Karachi served her community honorably for 21 years. She was an inspiration to the Filipino American community. Her enthusiastic desires to serve others was inspirational. There's about 20 Filipino elected officials, current and former here, that kind of signed this letter. And it's also on Spectrum One News. They were able to kind of get that out there. So that just shows you, like everybody else here was saying, it's not only the Duarte community, it's everywhere, everyone she touched throughout the cities, throughout the county, throughout the state, and I'm sure throughout our federal government as well. So I didn't think I was going to be emotional, but I sat next to her. And for this seat next to me to be empty, I just had to grab an agenda and put it here for her. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Sorry.
I said quite a bit earlier this evening, and I truly appreciate all of your words. I knew Zeidel in a much different way than any of you did. First of all, I'm a lot older than most of you guys. I'm actually 20 years older than Zeidel because she's 49. She would have been 50 on August 8th this year. I could be here all night telling you Zeidel stories. And initially, Zeidel ran campaigns against me, not against me, because Zeidel didn't do that. She had people that ran campaigns against me, but Zeidel didn't do that because, frankly, she and I didn't like running negative campaigns and didn't think it showed a lot of character. She was elected in 2001. I'd known her substantially before that, but she was elected in 2001, and she worked with Fasana and me for a lot of years, and we became a dynamic team. And I have a friend who he's the former CEO of SCAG. And he always said to me, Margaret, don't ever join an organization unless you plan on adding value to it. And that's what I can say about Zeidel. She added value. And no matter what she joined, she added value. Going to 2005, I'd been on the city council for 15 years at that point. She'd been on for 4 years. We were both active in the NLC, National League of Cities. I remember going back to Raleigh. We had a conference back in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I was running for the NLC board, and I looked down at the ballot, and you kind of had to work your way up to be able to run for these things. And they never took 2 people from California. You just didn't take 2 people from one state because you only had a board of, I think it's 30 or 40 people. So you didn't take 2 people from one state. And I went to the executive director, I think it was Don Borat at the time, and I said, what's going on? Don knew I was going to run. He said, Zeidel, who was active in the Asian Pacific American Municipal Organization, he said, she just threw her name in at the last minute. And I said, what's going to happen? He said, I don't know. It's going to be up to the nominating committee. And so later on that afternoon, Don came up to me and said, don't worry, Zeidel has withdrawn. I mentioned in my words that Zeidel always had my back. She always had my back. being president of several different organizations when I was installed. Zeidel always went, she was always there. She was always there. She and Casey and Jack would come out. They were always there. When she got so sick, she would talk to John and me for hours. We'd go over and visit her. And Zeidel was a really decent person. And we've had someone taken from us far, far too early. I'll miss her. I'll miss her a lot. Like I said, you'd be here until tomorrow morning if we talked about all the fun times we had. One of the things that makes me smile more than anything else, and I don't know whether any of you have kind of seen this side of Zeidel, but we would be at grand openings or ribbon cuttings or something, and there'd be a photograph of all of us, and I'd say, Zeidel, I'm gonna edit this picture here. And she'd say, okay. And she'd say, oh, I know what you're gonna do. Okay, edit it. And I'd know exactly what she meant. I'd know exactly what she meant. And we laughed a lot over editing of our photos. Zeidel made me smile. She was about half my size. We always said that it was the long and the short of it. And one of the things I constantly kidded her about, and Brian, you're going to appreciate this. He knows exactly what I'm going to say. When Brian was put in as the public safety director, I'll never forget it. Brian was sitting right down there, and we were all talking about the accolades because Brian was so great in the LA County Sheriff, and he'd done this and he'd done that. And Zeidel says, in this day and age, Zeidel says, and he's not bad on the eyes either. She was sitting next to me. I said, Zeidel, you can't say that. She goes, well, it's true. So anyway, I have so many fun Zeidel stories. And there's a quote, and it says, those we love are never really lost to us. We feel them in so many special ways. Through friends they always cared about and dreams they left behind. In a beauty they added to our days, in words of wisdom we still carry with us, and memories that will never be gone. Those we love are never really lost to us, for everywhere their special love lives on. Zeidel will always live on to me. As long as I have breath, Zeidel will be in my heart. Go ahead and we'll adjourn this meeting with an empty seat up here, with an emptiness in our hearts for a colleague that we all loved. So we will adjourn this meeting tonight in the memory of Margarito Cabrera and our dear, dear Zeidel. Thank you. That's a wrap.